Hi, welcome to the Avrum Rosensweig Show. My name is Avrum Rosensweig, and I am absolutely delighted to be here with my dear friends. The show is all about ordinary people with extraordinary stories to tell. Today, the show is the greatness of age, what it means to be a little bit further on in life and how that can unfold, and some of the beautiful things that people who are doing who are in their 80s and 90s. And to tell us about that, I have four very special guests here. Uh, my first guest is Rhoda, who is an old friend of mine who used to live in the same building as I do. She's a beautiful human being, and she is a professional clown. Yes, give a wave, Rhoda. There we go. I am also delighted to be here with my other good friend is Thelma Feldman, who is my neighbor right across the hall. So if I need some sugar, I know where to go. And Thelma is a reflexologist. She is a yoga teacher and much, much more. How are you, Thelma?
Good, thank you. Very good.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Um, Joyce Raymond is here with us. You may know of her. She's 95 years old and she is the knitting lady. And of course, we're going to talk about that. But there we go. If there are sweaters to be had in Israel and through other organizations, then Joyce Raymond is the person to go to. She's been doing this for decades and has made hundreds, if not thousands, of sweaters, and we're very excited about hearing more about that. How are you, Joyce?
Great, thank you.
Lovely to have you. Sophie Kraus is here with us. She's the youngster in the group, 82 years old. How are you, Sophie?
I'm great, thank you. I'm absolutely great. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
it's
I
lovely
thank
to have you.
Rhoda for inviting me to come to her apartment because I had a problem.
Oh, that's
I'm
all good.
very thankful.
That's okay. We're all good here. And Sophie was a teacher, right?
Yes,
She
I,
was a
te-
teacher.
I still teach it. I was a teacher in my life, and I teach Yiddish. Yes.
Okay, so
For the past, pardon?
we are going to get to that, Sophie. I just wanted to
Okay.
introduce you, but let it be known that Sophie was a teacher and is a teacher. So this is what the show is all about. I would ask everybody, please, if they are watching this live on Facebook, great. They can also do so on YouTube, and I would ask you please to subscribe to the show. Once again, it's called the Avrum Rosensweig Show, and today it's all about the greatness of age. So let's start with Rhoda Shack. Rhoda, how are you doing?
Wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Rhoda,
I hope you are
yeah, I'm doing well. You are a young 94 years old?
too. 92.
Oh, 92. I'm sorry to make you older. Okay. And
It's okay.
you'll be 93
Okay.
next week.
Chronologically, I'm 92, but in my heart, I'm like maybe
25.
70.
25.
70, maybe 75. Okay.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, my first question to you was indeed that. How old do you feel inside?
Yes, I don't know how old a 70-year-old feels, but I certainly don't feel 92.
You don't.
Not at all. No, not at all.
Do you feel much
I'm
different than you
still
would have 30 years ago?
hard to say, but I'm still very active. And thank God my brain is still functioning quite well. My body maybe not so well, but I'm still very active. I've signed up for 4 uh, fitness courses with the Kimmel Foundation or the Kimmel Center in our building.
What are the
So
courses?
I get back in better shape.
What are the courses you've signed up for?
Aquafit and fitness, like fitness working with the machines.
And what is very interesting, Rhoda, is that recently you signed up for a philosophy course as well, right?
Yes, yes,
I love that.
that's taking place in our building as
I
well.
love that.
And Sophie runs Yiddish classes here.
Yeah, Sophie, so let's jump over to you. So you teach Yiddish,
Yes.
and how many people would be in your class?
I started 7 or 8 years ago with 8 people. People wanted to learn have some Yiddish. So as a former teacher, I agreed to take it on. Now I have 25 people.
Wow.
And I have people who are not Jewish. They also come.
Are they ever unruly? Are your students ever unruly? You have to discipline them?
They're very well
Are they?
behaved. Very.
Now, so
But I must toot Sophie's horn. She won a very special award. Can you tell them about your award?
I won in September an award from RHRA, which is Registered Homes Authority, something authority. And I received, and I am the champion resident of 2023.
excellent.
And it's quite an honor, quite an honor. I feel so wonderful that what I do has been recognized.
Sophie, I know that you are an aficionado when it comes to Yiddish, hence you're teaching it. But I also know that some of the ways that you teach it is through song. And
Yes.
I asked you if you knew a particular song in Yiddish called Hasukala Hakleina, and if you would sing some of it for us.
Okay. Suche a kleine from Betlach gemeine hab ich Konitores gemacht, bedeck dem Dach mit a bisseles Hach und seht der Zug ist bei Nacht. Bedeck dem Dach mit a bisseles Hach und seht der Zug ist bei Nacht.
That's beautiful. You know what I noticed, by the way, when you were singing it, that everybody here was smiling.
Why?
Well, I think that song is a wonderful way of teaching. I know that when I was in Israel once, I went to an environment where they were teaching Russians to speak Hebrew, and they didn't know any Hebrew whatsoever, and the teacher didn't know Russian, but they sang together Hebrew song.
Well, I do a lot of, every time I finish my program, every week, I have 10, 15 minutes of songs, listening to CD. And the more we listen, the more they recognize the songs and they sing along.
Lovely, lovely. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you for having
Oh,
me.
absolutely.
Nice to meet all of you.
Thelma Feldman, you and I are old buddies, right?
Yes, we are. We're
And
good neighbors, good friends.
we are. We are good neighbors. One of the things that really interests me in who you are is that you never stop growing and you never stop pushing, not only to become a better person, but also to help others. And a good example of that is today you still teach yoga, right?
Yeah, I teach here in the building, a group of friends. We go to the room once a week. I enjoy that very much. Yeah.
It's interesting. At a later stage in life, yoga can be done sitting down. Am I correct?
This is how I teach it now because we're all seniors, so we do sitting and standing. Lying on a mat just doesn't work anymore. You can get down, but getting up is another mindset.
Right, exactly. Now, you also do reflexology. Tell us about that.
Yeah, reflexology works on mostly on the feet, but on the hands as well, and it addresses different parts of the body. So if you do certain uh, spots on the feet, for instance, at the top of the toe, it connects with the brain. So when you're
Right.
stimulating those toes, you're stimulating your brain. That's just one aspect of reflexology, but it addresses the whole body, every cell in the body.
How old are you in your mind? You're 88 in actuality. How old are you in your mind?
It all depends on how I'm feeling. Some days I feel like a 60-year-old, some days more my age, but I feel quite young. I still have young feelings.
Well, you just came back from Mexico with your entire family, right?
That's right. And now I'm going off to Florida in a week to spend
You're
a
a
week
world you're a world
with a good friend. Yeah.
you're a world traveler and you're comfortable with traveling.
Yeah. Still, yes.
Excellent, excellent. We're delighted that you're here, Thelma. I'm also very happy to have as a guest today is Joyce Raymond. How are you, Joyce?
I'm great, thank you.
Joyce has a little bit of a sore throat, so we're going to listen.
No, it's,
Right, we're going to listen really closely
yeah,
to make sure that we hear your gems. Now, Joyce, you are about 95 years old, and you
yes.
are called the Knitting Lady. Why do you have that title?
I went to Israel in 1976 for the first time, and in January in Jerusalem was cold, and I went to see a daycare center that I've been supporting, and my husband and I were very cold. The children were sitting on a stone floor. Some of them had runny noses, and I said, never, I've got to do something. And I came home and started knitting. And every year I would go back to Israel and take 100 sweaters. So I think since 1976, it's been thousands of sweaters. And I think I do a little bit for humanity.
Now, you are constantly knitting. I came for dinner this week where you all live, except for Thelma, and I noticed that throughout the dinner you were just knitting and knitting away.
Well, while I'm waiting for my order to come, I'm knitting.
Is that a thing constantly throughout the day that you're knitting?
Well, I have a few ladies here that are helping me knit now, and I have a lot of catching up to do. I do the sleeves myself. They do the body or part of the body, and so I've got to work very hard to catch up with all the knitting. I've got 18 sweaters done right now since I've been here. I came here in October, and I gave the mitzvah knitters a whole slew of sweaters. And now I'm ready to give another batch. But I think I've got someone going to Israel next month. So I'm really anxious to get as many done as I can.
Some of the places that you've supplied sweaters with or knitted goods include Nina Cohen Atlantic Province Daycare Center in Jerusalem, ALYN Hospital, a rehabilitation center for disabled children in Jerusalem, Schneider Children's Medical Center of Israel in Petah Tikva. Do you get feedback on your sweaters? Do you get a response from those who are wearing them?
Not from the people that are wearing it, no. I usually see them when I go. For instance, when I went to the Schneider Sick Children's, they put all the sweaters on a wagon, and I went from room to room and asked the child to pick out what color that they would like. And that gave me great satisfaction.
That's fantastic. And are you still as passionate about it as you were 30 years ago?
Of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm busy. I think that's what keeps me going.
Right. So let's touch on that. I want to open things up a little bit. There have been studies. You make a very good point, Joyce. There have been studies that people who are passionate and driven about what they do, be it a career, be it hobbies, be within the family or amongst friends, that they live longer lives. And again, one of the things that I see from all of you, that I sense from your lives, is that who you are today in terms of your growth, in terms of your development as a person, helping yourself become better, helping the world become a better place, is probably who you were when you were 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old. So, Rhoda, can I ask you that question? Have you always been sort of a type A personality, always pushing forward to accomplish more?
Well, can I tell you, I'm a war child from London, England. If you could possibly imagine, I was one of those children at 10 years old who was sent away out of London. And I had to look after my 7-year-old sister. So, can you possibly imagine in today's age sending a 10-year-old child
Yeah.
away from home? But I was very fortunate that I think my parents instilled in me a sense of responsibility, and that's been holding me through all my life.
I should mention that we've lost Rhoda and Sophie for a moment. Hopefully, they'll be back in a second. So, Joyce, do you have memories of those days?
Of course, I've written about it. Uh, I've written from my early childhood. And I think that that taught me how to be responsible. And that held me up through all my life.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You write a daily journal, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Is that just for yourself?
No, no, no. I have friends all over the world, and I send a journal usually every Saturday or Sunday. I send it out to everybody. So my late sister used to say, "This way we're all on the same page." She
Right.
was very jealous that someone should know something that I'm doing that she doesn't know. So I said, "This way everybody's know." Funnily enough, this morning I used to winter in Florida. This is my first winter in Toronto in 40 years. And this morning I had a phone call from an Ottawa lady who I'm friends with in Florida, in Boca. And she says, "We miss you here. And I miss your knitting." And she was one of my knitters there. Wherever I go, I start a knitting group. And I've got a knitting group going here in the Bay Crust.
What might you have written in your journal yesterday?
What what did it? Well, I was very bored
Were
yesterday.
you?
Saturday is not a good day here,
Yes.
and the weather is not conducive to your health. If you've got aches and pains, so I was busy most of the day in my room knitting
And
or writing.
was that enjoyable to you? Did you enjoy the day that way?
No,
Oh, it was
no,
boring.
I like I like to be out and about and meeting people here, and I think that's what gives me a mode of living.
Very good. Thelma,
Yes, I'm here.
I want to have you address the same question. I know you very well. We've learned Torah together quite extensively, and I see that, as I said before, you are always on the road to accomplish something new. A little while back, I know that you applied to be a speaker at a major Jewish conference. Unfortunately, they didn't accept you, which I think was their mistake. But
Mhm.
you were going to speak about dreams, right?
Absolutely, yes. And I've talked about that with you. Yeah.
Yes, we've talked extensively about that. Um, my question to you is: have you always been this type of person where you're trying to make things better, trying to grow, trying to build things within your family and outside of it?
Yes, as a young child, I felt because I came from a family that my parents were two very unhappy people, and eventually they divorced. And I made up my mind at a young age that I was going to um, give of myself to other people to do things that would give me joy. And this is how I live my life. I look for things that give me joy and that I can make a difference for other people.
So, would you say that you have meaning and purpose in your life?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm always looking for new things to give me more purpose. For instance, I'm doing with two friends, we are working on our legacies. So, and we're looking at our past experiences, our past memoirs, and we're working together. And it gives me great joy to remember. I have good memories.
So, when you
Helping other people is a very important thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And this is the whole idea behind the show today is that I want people to be inspired by you, by all of you. And hopefully we can get Sophie and Rhoda back shortly. But so, Rhoda, when you think about your memoirs, i.e., your life, do you think obviously back, but do you also think about your future? Because I know I've spoken to many, many seniors. I have a passion for communicating and interacting with seniors. I find this group of people to be full of wisdom that sometimes people of your age group do not look forward, right? They're not excited about the future. How do you see your life back and forward?
Are you talking to me?
Thelma, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. First of all, I'm looking forward. Yeah, I'm just 88, a young 88,
Yes, you
and
are.
but I'm looking forward to my 90th birthday because my family's going to make me a birthday party. So that's something to look forward to. And I have uh, two families, sons with grandchildren in Calgary, so they'll all come in for my birthday. So that is very exciting for me to bring family together.
So you have a lot to look forward to. You know, somebody
Absolutely.
once told me that life is having something to look forward to. And I've held that very close to me. Joyce, would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, yeah. Next week is going to be 95,
Muzzle tough.
and I'm looking forward. I'm making a birthday party. When I'm in Florida, I used to make a birthday party, a wine and cheese for all my friends. And this year, I'm going to make one in the greenhouse for all my knitters. So I'm looking forward to that.
Do you get tired very much?
Not
You
really.
don't.
No, no. Sometimes.
And you do exercise?
Yes, I go to the exercise program every morning at 10:30, and I was a little disappointed today when they had Jeopardy on instead of the exercise, but whatever. But normally they have an exercise every morning, and I enjoy that.
Now, I was really interested, but not entirely surprised when you told me that you've been married 3 times. And
Yes,
the reason why I'm not entirely surprised is because you have a very effusive personality. You walk to the beat of your own drum, as they say. And I'm going to guess that it was really, really important to you to find the man who could walk together with you and understand your soul, understand your essence. Now, your last marriage was for 35 years to Harry Raymond, right? What
yes.
was that? What was the marriage like? What was Harry like?
Fantastic.
Yeah,
It was a mutual admiration
was
society.
it?
He admired me and I admired him. And he encouraged me to do many, many things that I'd never thought of doing.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, I became a property manager. I did renovating of houses, which I'd never ever thought of doing before, and did a fantastic job.
Well, are you afraid of taking any challenge on?
No,
You're not afraid.
oh, I just did it.
Do you have any fears?
Any
Yeah.
fears? Well, I have fears of getting aches and pains.
And yeah, right.
I've had my share of aches and pains. Who hasn't at 95? But I do the best I can. Carry on.
What's very interesting.
I think that's I think that's the English spirit.
Yeah, that's
In,
right.
Eng- in England during the war, they had an expression: "Make do and mend," and that's my philosophy. Okay, you get on with it.
Which is very English. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right. Just pick it up and move forward.
exactly.
You've also traveled. You and Harry traveled extensively. You went to
Yes.
China. You went throughout Europe, and you've been in Israel many times. What's your favorite country?
I well, I would venture to say, I, I think since 1976, I have a son living in
Yes.
Jerusalem, and so I've been going every year, and you know that was very important to me to be with my son and his wife.
How are you feeling since October 7th? I know you have a grandson, I believe, in the army. Is that correct?
Yes, he's a gunner on a tank, which actually I haven't been there since COVID started, which upsets me considerably. But there's nothing I could do about that. And right now, I don't think I'm in a position physically to make a trip there. Although my son would like me to go.
Will you go at
I,
some point?
what?
Will you go at some point?
Oh, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so anymore. The insurance would be unbelievable. Out of the country health insurance.
How does that feel to you? You know, knowing you.
Very disappointing.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yes.
Thelma, I know that you were married to Gideon for 50 years, correct?
In 2010, that was the year he died. But
He
we were
passed away
married
in
for
two.
50 years
That's a long time to be married.
to the same person. Yeah.
What's it like to know somebody that well?
Oh, well, you think you know a person the longer you live with them, but there's lots of things. You can always learn something new. And but one of the things that I admired about him and that I treasure to this day is that he was a big influence on my life in learning about Judaism and learning about Torah because he was very knowledgeable. So I just treasure that. I treasure those memories of his influence and of teaching me how to be a good Jewish woman.
Thelma, tell us the story about how you met Gideon.
Oh, how much time do we have?
We got a couple minutes here.
Okay, in 1959, I went to Israel to a kibbutz, to an ulpan, and I walked in and I saw this tall, good-looking man, and he didn't know it, but I decided at that time that was the man I was going to marry. He didn't know that, of course. and what we got to know each other. We started dating, and I fell in love with him because I had to have a trunk sent from New York to the kibbutz because they left it sitting in New York, and and it came by bus to the entrance to the kibbutz, and he came down and he lifted this big trunk on his big wide shoulders and walked down the path into the kibbutz. And I said, "This is the man I'm going to marry." That's how I fell in love with him. And
That's beautiful. And
yeah,
I know your influence on him was great as well, right?
yeah.
You really introduced him here in Toronto to your
I
shul, to your
introduced him, yeah,
synagogue.
to folk dancing. We were big folk dancers, different uh, folk dancing from different countries, and we danced together. We went to different folk dance camps, and of course he met many of my friends here, so I was an influence that way too.
We're trying to get Rhoda and Sophie back. Rhoda, can you hear me? We thought we might have their audio, but I guess not. Maybe we'll leave their picture up there for a bit so you can remember the interview started with that with them. Yes, I was always fascinated by your story, your life story, your story with your husband and your children. You have three children, two boys and a girl, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
And how you develop that side of your life based on your need to grow and to make things big. So your families, you guys are travelers, as I said. You just came back from Mexico. You have influences from different part of the world, including Israel. And to me, it's really quite fascinating what you've done with your life to date. So well done on that.
Thank you.
Joyce, can you tell us how you met your husband, your third husband?
Yes, that's a very interesting story. When my second marriage was a very unhappy marriage. When my boys were 8 years old, I wanted to send them to Hebrew school. My husband at that time said we can't afford it. So I went to see Rabbi Monson at Beth Shalom Synagogue and explained to him my situation and why I was there. He said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." And from then on, the boys went to Hebrew school till they were bar mitzvah. And anytime I had a problem at home, I went to see the rabbi to. I have no family here, so I had no one to talk to. And he was very kind, very helpful. I don't know whether this is going to cut you out or not, whatever. Oh, there you go. Anyway, one day I was visiting the rabbi and I was in a very, very unhappy situation at home. And my husband, who was a lawyer, came out of the rabbi's office. He was having the rabbi sign some documents. And the rabbi said, "Oh, this is Joyce," and whatever. And 3 days later, he called me. He must have asked the rabbi on the side who I was and my phone number. And that was the beginning.
Those are beautiful beginnings, aren't they?
Thank you. It was
W-
a very wonderful relationship.
Was he romantic?
Of course.
Yeah. You held hands.
Oh, yeah. It was very,
I go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it was very good relationship, physically, mentally, and every other way.
Lovely, lovely. Are there any stories throughout your 35 years that you'd like to share with us? Traveling, even
Oh
being.
my God. Well, we've been in France, we've been in Italy, we've taken many cruises. Um, when I first came to Canada in 1948, the mode of travel was by going by boat. But at that time, Canada had a big campaign on to bring Gentiles to reside in Canada. And my boyfriend at the time, unbeknownst to me, his mother and his brother and him had applied to come to Canada. And so I said, okay, fine. I fell madly in love. And after 6 months, my father said, okay, that's enough of that. He's not Jewish, and break it off. But anyway, when he finally came to Canada, he wrote, I'm madly 17 years old, madly in love with this guy. And uh, he wrote to my father when I was 19 to ask if he could marry me. And that was when I came to Canada. Anyway, that marriage lasted 2 years, but I was still madly in love with him. And I won't go into all the details why the marriage didn't last, but I came to Canada, back to England on a boat. And that was my first trip on an Atlantic crossing. It was the most amazing thing I ever heard. So when I met my third husband and I told him about this trip to England on the boat, he kind of looked at me with jaundiced eyes. Oh, yeah, what kind of BS is she giving me? Anyway, after that, we went on many, many cruises, from the ridiculous to the sublime. And we we wound up going on the Crystal Harmony many times. That was our last cruises. He really enjoyed that. We belonged to the Lifetime Club of all those associations. So it was really a wonderful time.
So when you were together and now that you're alone and opportunities come your way, do you see those as something you can do, or maybe perhaps more so that you could do? Like, in other words, a lot of people put obstacles in front of themselves, Joyce. But I find that people who are driven in life, they don't see those obstacles.
Okay, we had a house, we've had two houses in Florida, and finally, when my husband started failing, someone suggested I move to Century Village in Boca. And I thought to myself at that time, that's a little beneath my dignity, but it turned out to be the best move I ever made. Century Village has so much going on, and I became involved in many of the clubs there, writing and the knitting. I started a knitting club, and I become very active wherever I am. So that's that's my nature.
Do you hope you'll live a long, long, long life?
No, I feel, frankly, when I look at some of the people around me here, and I say, if there's no quality of life, forget it. Put yourself out. There's why linger and cause not only yourself a lot of pain, but your family a lot of pain. So this is my just me.
And we should mention that you live in a senior's home, right? With
Yeah.
independent living, right?
Well, I guess you call it independent. Yes,
As
it's
best as
nice.
you can.
It's I suddenly, because I have no children living in Canada, and I decided after last a year ago, I had a fall in Florida, and after that I said, okay, I guess that takes care of me in Florida, and I decided that I would move to the terrace, Baycrest Terrace, which I'd never heard of before, but I've obviously heard of other senior residences. And I said, you know what? I think now's the time to do that. And I'm quite happy that I made that move.
Yeah, when I saw you there, you looked very comfortable. You
I
looked
am.
you looked very at home, and you looked very popular, by the way.
Thank you.
No, you did. You did. Thelma, I want to
Yes,
read you a
yes.
poem. I'd like to read you a poem
Okay.
about being a senior, being older in life. I don't know what do you think the best way of qualifying your stage of life? What do you call yourself in terms of your years?
Well, I have a passion for life. I have a passion for what I do. And I hope to still be able to do a lot of the things that I am doing yoga, doing qigong, doing being with friends, and and as long as my mind and body work, this is what I hope to keep using my body and my mind as long as possible.
What happens if somebody calls you old? What's your response to that?
Oh, my son, my older son who's going to be 60, he calls me, he calls himself old, and we're going to celebrate
Yeah,
his 60th. I said, if you're old, what am I? He says, he calls me ancient. I said, I am not old.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think that way. Old is not in my vocabulary.
Good. Good for you. And in that light, I want to read a poem to you by Maya Angelou, who is a
Oh,
great
yeah,
American writer
what
and
a
poet.
terrific writer,
So
yes.
listen to this, and I'd like to get your take from both of you on what you think she's saying here. When you see me sitting quietly, like a sack left on the shelf, don't think I need your chattering. I'm listening to myself. Hold, stop, don't pity me. Hold, stop your sympathy. Understanding if you got it, otherwise, I'll do without it. When my bones are stiff and aching and my feet won't climb the stairs, I will only ask one favor: don't bring me no rocking chair.
That's
What
what I said.
is well said, right? Thelma, what's your immediate response to
Yeah,
that?
very spiritual. Yeah, she was a very spiritual woman. Yeah.
But do you find that people treat you like an older lady or not?
It all depends on the circumstances. I know when I was in Mexico with my family, uh, people were very helpful because I had balancing on the sand and everything. But they didn't make me feel old. They just said that, they're ready to help me. And I accepted their help because I thought I'm not taking a chance I don't want to fall and break anything. And I was there with 10 of my family, and they took good care of me. But I also was, I'm still quite an independent woman. I like to do a lot of things on my own still. And
And
I don't want
and
anyone to feel sorry for me. Definitely not.
exactly, and I think that's the point. And I've noticed that when we're together, sometimes somebody will walk by who is of your age group, and they may be a bit older than you and a bit younger than you, and you or other seniors that I know might refer to them as, oh, the older lady or the older man, because you can be 88 or 90 or 95 and young, have a great vibrant spirit, but you can be that age too and be very old. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. It's all about attitude. If you remember Kitty Cohen, I don't know if you
Yes.
knew her, Joyce, Kitty Cohen. Anyways, her motto was have an attitude of gratitude. Be grateful for what you have. And that's the way I feel about my life, and I'm grateful for my family.
I actually interviewed Kitty Cohen. She was 106 years old when she passed away, also living at Baycrest. And she was a fascinating human being, just driven, always driven. She flew down to Florida to be at her son's spa. And it was there that she passed away 2 weeks
Yeah,
after
it
we
was
did the interview. But
Jamaica. It was
oh, was it Jamaica?
Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was Jamaica. But if you want to hear that interview, you can find it on my website at avrumrosensweig.com. Joyce Raymond, do you feel sexy?
Do I feel? I don't think about that anymore. I'm just
You don't.
happy being the way I am, the physical way I am, and I don't think of age, if possible.
You don't think of age at all.
No, I just am as I am.
And do you make every effort to doll yourself up still? Put on makeup every day?
Not really. No, I did put a little makeup on today for this purpose, and under normal circumstances, I just have lipstick and rouge. That's it.
And you look
Many,
lovely.
many, 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 many years ago, I went to Winnipeg to visit some friends, and this lady was younger than I am, much younger than I am. And at 8 o'clock in the morning, she was totally made up. And she was a good looking lady to start with. And I said to her, "Why are you wearing all that makeup?" And she said, "It makes me feel good." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. From now on, as soon as I get up in the morning, I put on rouge and lipstick. That's it."
And you still do that.
And I still do that.
What I think there's a sense out there that individuals who are older, further on in life, that their lives are so dramatically different than those who are younger. I'm 63. As an example, I sleep about 7 or 8 hours a night. How many hours a night do you sleep, Joyce?
Well, I I usually put out the lights at 11 o'clock, and I sleep till about 8 in the morning.
So you have 9 hours sleep,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. How about you, Thelma?
I break it up. Unfortunately, well, it's not unfortunate. I fall asleep on the couch sometimes watching TV, and so I sleep for maybe 2 hours, and then I go to bed. So I would say I have about 7 or 8 hours of sleep every day.
Okay, good. There is a good chance you'll become the morning person you've always wanted to be in your 60s. Our sleeping patterns can shift as we age, so we get sleepier earlier and wake
Hmm.
up earlier. That seems to work out well. One study showed that even though folks over 65 tend to wake up during the night, most said they regularly get a good night's sleep. So I think the misunderstanding out there is that older people don't sleep well, but the studies show otherwise, that they actually do. Insight into others' emotions. One of the things that cropped up in my research about seniors, about getting older, about aging, is that there is a sense amongst the aged, and obviously not everybody, that they have much better control over their emotions, that they're much more able to communicate better, that their understanding of life runs very, very deeply. In essence, the studies or writings show that there is this tremendous richness that seniors have within their thinking, within their soul. Joyce, do you find that as you get older, that life has just become richer, and that perhaps you're more patient with other people and understanding of them?
I feel that I'm patient with other people, and I feel sorry for them if they uh, have an attitude.
Yeah.
And I try to avoid people with attitudes. And as I said, the name of my game is trying to help others if I can. And I think I succeeded in doing that. Even though I'm here now, I still try to do my best to be friendly or befriend other people, and do whatever I can to make them feel better.
What's it like when someone new comes into your environment? Are you one of those people who go over to them and ask them how they are?
I try,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And I'm assuming some people have a hard time of it and some people don't.
Well, unfortunately, every time they get somebody new here, that means somebody has passed away,
Yes.
and
Yes.
which is an unfortunate situation. The fact that I haven't been here, I've only been here since October, so I don't. I know people to say hello, how are you, but I can't say that I'm buddies with everybody. That would be telling a lie.
When somebody passes away in your surroundings, is that incredibly hard on you, or is it more like,
No,
okay?
I don't know most of them that have passed away, but somebody has to have died to get a room here.
No, well, my question is more so, let's say not your environment. Let's say within your world, the people that you know, cousins, family, friends, when they pass away, is that highly, highly painful for you? Or is that like, okay, that's life. That's the way life goes?
No, 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 it is painful. Unfortunately, I'm the oldest of three girls,
Yeah.
and both of my sisters are now gone.
Yes.
which is sad to me.
Thelma, let me put that question to you as well. When you
Yeah.
lose someone in your world, how is your response nowadays?
Well, it depends on how close we've been, but I accept it. I say, this is life. We all have to go. And I just deal with it in the best way possible and just try to accept what is because I know eventually I'm going to go to.
Are you aware of your ultimate demise? Because when I hit 60 and now I'm 63, I'll be 64 soon, like the Beatles song. I am very aware of the fact that I call this maybe the final fifth of my life, the final quarter of my life, and my
Don't think
motivation is
about
much
it.
different. You don't think about it at all, Joyce?
No, I don't. You accept the day as it is, or what's going on right now, and you get on with it. Right, Thelma?
Yes, absolutely, Joyce. I agree with you. Take it one day at a time.
Yeah. Just hope for the best. You, I feel I'm doing the best I can for humanity, and I think that gets me moving.
Yes. And life is a gift.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I feel I've been very lucky, and I'm doing, like I said, I'm doing the best I can.
Well,
Yeah.
you say life is a gift, and I think that's key to who you are as people. And that really is an important message to get out there to others that life is indeed a gift, right? It's a present. It's wrapped up with a ribbon, and
Hmm.
we have to take every minute out of it and just celebrate it and ourselves. But what's your response like, Thelma, when bad things happen in your life? How do you respond to that?
Um, I find sometimes I try to be more patient. I find I've become more patient in general, but I recently lost my patience with a situation that I felt was not treating me well, and I decided I'm not going to hold it in. I let this person know that I was upset about how I was treated, and I said I must tell you how I'm feeling. If I hold it in, it will not feel good for me. And once I expressed my feelings, my anger, I just said it. And that's it. I let it go and that's it. It's gone. So I try to be patient with certain people and sometimes it's not always that easy. So, but I work, that's an area that I work on.
Joyce, do you believe in God?
Well, I tell you, I was born a Jew, but my religion is trying to be a decent human being.
Yes.
Mm,
Going to shul is not that important to me. As I said, being a decent human being, and I've tried that all my life.
beautiful, beautiful.
Thelma, you believe in God?
Yes, more and more. We've discussed this before, you and I find that I'm beginning to accept that there is a higher source, whether we call it God or whatever, that there is something above me that is guiding my life.
I see these advertisements on TV for children with cleft lips or broken arms, or broken limbs, whatever. And I say to myself, what kind of God is that makes these children that way? So when you ask me about being religious, as I said, my religion is trying to be a decent human being.
Yes, I understand that. I was fascinated recently. I did a class at a local synagogue, and the question was God in the Bible. The students for that particular class were probably average age around 80. And we had about 20 people in the room, a couple people who were in their 60s or 50s. And what I took away from that class at the end of it, and I asked them, is this the correct synopsis? Is that many people who are older, I thought that the seniors kind of have come to grips with life, have accepted it for what it is, the difficulties, and the challenges. But what I heard in the room was, from many people, was that they were very angry with God because of all the things that they had gone through, and they thought that God would be there for them in a different way. But that wasn't the sense I got at all. And I'm wondering if that has to do with the personality of the individual, or if that is a natural response to life and to the hardships of it. What do you think, Thelma?
I think I think it's a natural response. I find that you know, I mean, we can lay blame. We can say God is responsible for us. God is why isn't He making life better? Why did He allow the Holocaust? But I think I'm learning as I get older. I'm trying to get better with age and wiser. That we're still responsible for our own lives, and we make our own lives. And 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 I still like to think that there is a God, but I'm not making God responsible for my life. I'm responsible for my own life. But it's a good feeling to know that there is somehow a higher source, a higher power.
Joyce, you think a little bit differently about that.
Well, I sometimes wonder if there was a God. Why is He letting all these things happen in the world?
Yeah. Yes.
That's my opinion.
Yes, I understand that. I want to read a poem to you in conclusion. Want to grab that later?
Excuse me. Dora,
I
I'll call you back.
This is a poem
Trump,
by
Trump
J.R.
always swings at in an opportune time.
Yeah, exactly. This is a poem by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's called "I Sit Beside the Fire and Think." I sit beside the fire and think of all that I have seen, of meadow flowers and butterflies in summers that have been, of yellow leaves and gossamer in autumns that there were, with morning mist and silver sun and wind upon my hair. I sit beside the fire and think of how the world will be when winter comes without a spring that I shall ever see. For still there are so many things that I have never seen in every wood and every spring there is a different green. I sit beside the fire and think of people long ago. Do you, Joyce, do you reminisce about people from the past a lot?
No, no. I just concentrate on the present. I've had my share of ups and downs, and relatively right now, things that are very even keel.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy with my life as it is.
Thelma, what about yourself? Do you think about people a lot from the past?
Not really. Sometimes certain memories come of certain people I've been close to over the years. But no, I won't dwell on it. They're gone. Let them be at peace. And I just live my life, I accept who I am and I accept my life as it is and enjoy every moment of my life.
That's it. I've written about all my ups and downs in life. During my stay in Florida, I went to a writing class, and the teacher would throw out every week what she wanted us to write about, and I've written about all that, and I'm quite happy with the good times that I've had.
That's wonderful, and I think that is a great way of wrapping up the interview. I really want to thank both Thelma and Joyce, and also Rhoda, Rhoda and Sophie, who unfortunately we lost about a third of the way in or quarter of the way in, but we will pick up on that. I'll do another interview with them. But Thelma and Joyce, thank you so much
My pleasure.
for
Thank you,
really.
Avram. I
Oh,
really enjoyed this. Yeah.
I really was deeply inspired by what you have to say, and what I'm hoping is that my listeners and my viewers will feel similarly because you guys rock. You really do rock. You live life to its fullest, and I think that you take every moment of the day and every moment of your lives just to make it better and to make other people's lives better. So well done to both of you. Well done.
Thank you.
And Joyce, thank you. I was glad to be able to hear your life story, and I find you very inspiring.
Thank
That
you.
you are inspiring, Joyce,
Thank
as well as you, Thelma. I want to thank all of my viewers. for listening. It's been the Avrum Rosensweig Show. This has been live stream, and it will be recorded as well. You'll be able to find it on Facebook, on YouTube, and other such social media outlets. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's easy. Just click on a button and it's there. And if you'd like to know more about my podcast, listen to some from the past, or perhaps learn about my art show, which is going to be happening this week, please go to avrumrosensweig.com. There you can see my art, and it's for sale if you're interested. So have a beautiful week. Be inspired by my guests. There's a lot to be inspired by, and I truly look forward to being with you again next week when I interview Hillel Halkin. And Hillel Halkin is a world-renowned Israeli writer, translator, and he has translated some of the best, like Amos Oz and Shalom Aleichem. It's going to be fascinating. So please tune in at that time. The show is all about ordinary folk with extraordinary stories, and I think today was indicative of that. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. I'm Yisro
Thanks,
Al-Chai.
Avrum. Yeah.
Thank you
take
very
care.
much. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.
Thank you,
We'll see you.
Avrum. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah.
Thank you.